Welcome to the Intimate Partner Violence Video Miniseries 2021 for Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Diane Lewis and I'm a victim service provider. In this episode, I will be addressing intimate partner violence in Trinidad and Tobago with respect to the organizations and accessible resources for victims of IPV. In place of our citizen question in this episode, I will be guiding persons on how to do what victim service providers call safety planning. The enactment of the Domestic Violence Act of Trinidad and Tobago in 1999 led to the development of a multi-sectoral approach to addressing the issue of domestic violence. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is a free 24-hour service that offers counseling and referral services to victims of domestic violence. For immediate assistance or emergencies, it's best to contact the emergency services at 999, which would then get in contact with the Gender-Based Violence Unit. The Gender-Based Violence Unit was actually formed in early 2020 and is tasked with handling cases of domestic violence and breaches of restraining order. The officers of the Gender-Based Violence Unit are trained to deal with these issues with a professional level of sensitivity, confidentiality, and trust. Any victim of IPV is entitled to walk into a police station and make a report concerning the incident. However, many victims have reported being turned away or not being taken seriously when going into a police station to report a domestic violence issue. It's important to note that when making a report of any incident to any police station across Trinidad and Tobago, police officers are required to give you a citizen report receipt. This citizen report receipt should have the date and time of the report, your name, your address, the type of incident, for example, assault, the date and time the incident occurred, and the badge number, rank, and surname of the officer taking your information. Do not leave the police station without your citizen report receipt, as it's proof that you did in fact make a report. I would just like to show you an example of what the citizen report looks like. The Victim and Witness Support Unit was formed to bridge the service gap between the TTPS and the victims and witnesses of crime. In the case that a report was made concerning any violent event, the person would then be referred to one of the available Victim and Witness Support Units. At these units, victims would be given counseling and referred to any other services that may be available to them depending on their circumstances. You can contact the Victim and Witness Support Unit via email or telephone. This shelter, which was recently reopened, was created in response to the growing awareness of domestic violence in Trinidad and Tobago to offer support for victims. During their stay at the center, victims would have access to counseling and activities, relocation, job placement, and post-residence counseling. They also provide opportunities for citizens to volunteer. They can be contacted at 345-4218. One of the earliest organizations, the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, formed by Diana Mahabir Wyatt in 1988, is a non-profit organization that brings together various relevant organizations to provide support services for domestic violence victims. Over the years, they have engaged in many activities to help address domestic violence, such as research, public education, advocacy, support and counseling, witness support and legal aid, and prevention programs. They also offer opportunities for volunteering and internship programs. They can be contacted at 624-0402 and 627-6844. Other resources that are accessible to victims of IPV include counseling hotline options at the National Family Services, Families in Action, and Rape Crisis Society. Domestic violence victims who are displaced may also qualify for a rental grant from the Social Welfare Division of up to $2,500 per month for the first 3 months, then to be reviewed. So in place of our citizen question, in this episode, we'll be discussing safety planning. You might ask, what is safety planning? A safety plan is a method used to protect the victim and their children and involves planning for the possibility of any violence. While the victim is not in control of stopping their partner's potential abuse, because only the perpetrator can do this, having a plan increases the victim's safety and will allow them to move quickly should a violent episode occur. So here are some things one should keep in mind when safety planning. Make note of abusive behaviors, dates, and possible triggers. In this way, you may be able to expect the abuser's behavior and plan accordingly. Plan an escape route. Consider your physical health as well as your capabilities. And when an argument escalates, move to a room with an easy escape from the house or a room that is safe. Gather all important documents. Gather original documents in one place, such as certificates, driver's license, insurance, medical records, police records, any court or restraining orders, keys, identification documents, school and vaccination records for children and for yourself, medication, bank cards, bank account documents, and also keep some cash. It's also important to keep copies of these important documents, and with today's technology, this can now be done in soft copy. Have at least one confidant. I cannot stress how important it is to have a support system, especially for persons who are victims of intimate partner violence. If you need to immediately flee from your home, this person should be willing to accommodate you and any children you may have. They may also keep a bag of clothing and copies of your important documents and money in case of an emergency. Devise a code word or signal. If you need someone to contact the emergency services on your behalf or send help immediately, devise a code word with your confidant and your children. Using a code word could help children to get to safety if there is an attack without the abuser knowing. Make note of important emergency numbers and teach children to call them in the event of an emergency. It's extremely important to prepare children if an argument becomes violent. Ignoring the impact of the abuse means that they will be ill-prepared for situations that can potentially become fatal. In most cases, after the perpetrator has disabled their intended target, in a fit of rage or anger, they may target surrounding others, including their own children. So preparation would help children escape any harm that may befall them. Keep a small cellular phone that's fully charged with important numbers and emergency contacts if you need to flee and may have to leave your old cell phone behind. It's also very helpful to memorize emergency numbers like 800-SAVE or 999. Prepare a ready-to-go bag in the event of an emergency. Pack clothing, shoes, money, and medication, and also your important documents. It's also important to keep a personal savings. Open a savings account or keep some cash savings on your person or give it to a confidant in the event that you need to flee. Look out for our next episode on October the 25th, 2021, where I will be interviewing a victim of intimate partner violence. Should you have any questions on intimate partner violence or any queries about the information we just discussed or on safety planning, please feel free to reach me at the email address. Thanks for listening. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of intimate partner violence or any type of other domestic violence, please take note of the following agencies on the screen and their contact numbers for help. If you're experiencing or you're currently witnessing any sort of violence, please contact the emergency services at 999 or 555 for immediate assistance.